Hey, it works. I'll be darned. How about that? Well, how about that? It works. We are live. This is exciting. I can't believe it works. Alright, guys. Excuse me. Well, as you know, I'm your man with the plan, ShaneMan20. Wanted to do a live update rather than just do a basic video. I didn't think it would make a whole lot of sense to just do a regular video and go over updates and stuff like that. I really haven't had much time and much energy to dedicate time into a lot of videos. Although right now I'm doing getting info together and getting video and content together for another video that I should have either ready by next week or the week after. So basically what we're doing is I'm going through my DiabloSport Trinity tuner and doing one of the can tunes and running that for about a week. And then what I'm going to do is alter it by deactivating fuel or active fuel management, and then we're going to see how well the truck handles both and what kind of fuel economy you get with both, and basic overall driving characteristics of each of the alterated tunes out of the box, just to kind of see, you know, where things are and what kind of things we can expect. You know, that's basically where I'm at right now. You know, so basically that should be a lot of fun, and I'm having a good time kind of learning the changes, which I kind of already did a test like that for the last 2 weeks just to kind of get an idea of what I was going to expect out of the tuner. And to be honest with you, it was an interesting thing, but now this time I'm actually doing video content and trying to keep everything focused on just normal driving, even though I've already had to kind of go out of my way one day this week. So it kind of throws it off a little bit, but it should still give you a pretty good idea of what to expect as far as gas mileage and other things like that. So far, it still seems about where it would be if it was stock, but that's kind of where I'm at with that. I'll get you guys all the information, have a video out for you either next week, excuse me, or the week after. That's where we're at with that. So anyways, going into some other stuff, what has happened as far as this year's concerned? Let's do a giant recap on this entire channel. If you guys will know, I started this about the beginning of March or around mid-March with the intent of having fun with my truck. At the time, I was working a great job, just needed a little bit of extra money and wanted something else to do for fun, so I started this YouTube channel, ShaneMan20, and I've really enjoyed doing a lot of the things that I have done with this channel. It's always continually growing. The content is still questionable for me. It's not where I want it to be at, but I'm kind of limited with partially experience for one. Two would have to be the equipment, and that's not just cameras, that's also what I'm using to put all the videos together with. I'm just using a 6-year-old laptop, case in point. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do to get by, and that's kind of where I'm at. And then I think most of it has to do with experience, equipment, and just general know-how. So that's kind of the issues on that. But anyways, let's recap on what I have done this year so far, and we'll start with number one, which was the catch can that I did for the truck. You guys will know I have an Elite Engineering catch can on the truck, and I do take it off and clean it out and dump all the contents out periodically, usually every 5,000 miles or so, or around every oil change. For the most part, and it does fill up quickly in that amount of time. Usually, I think this time I went about 12,000 miles on a single oil change, which is pretty good for starters. It's usually not that long, but that's much better than it has been. So let's see. I put on the catch can, and usually I can check it every 5,000, 7,500 miles, and it's not quite all the way full, so generally they say you can go a whole oil change without having to take off the catch can and empty out the contents, which usually when I empty out the contents it goes straight into an oil dumpster thing, you know, little oil canister, just to put everything away. But anyways, that's one thing we've done so far. Next thing after that was the Corsa Sport Catback exhaust system, and I absolutely love how that exhaust system sounds. To this day, I would not change anything about it. It's got a great raspiness, even for just something that's catback. It's got a nice rasp compared to some of the other competitors, just my opinion. I think all the other ones out there, MagnaFlow, Flowmaster, I believe even Stainless Works offers an exhaust system. They're all pretty good exhaust systems, and they're not bad, but they're a little too bassy sounding for me, if that makes a little sense. It's too, it's got too much of a low tone grumble to it, and I'm not a big fan of that unless you have a set of headers, or you cut out the third cat, things like that, off-road wide pipes, things like that. Unless you've got that kind of thing going on where you can get a little bit more rasp out of it, it's just not something that hits me very well. So we've also done the cold air intake, as you guys will remember just recently, the AFE cold air intake. I really like it so far, and I mean, I'm not seeing any issues from the truck side as far as how the truck responds, especially with the tuner, which, going back into the things that we've also done this year, which is the tuner as well, the DiabloSport Trinity. Those all of those three things right there, the exhaust, the cold air intake, and the tune, have really changed the characteristic of the truck overall, and it definitely has a lot more peppiness. It is certainly happy about the changes that it has taken on. So also with that tune, you basically not only do you tuning the engine, you're also tuning the transmission as well. The transmission, I have it set up on a firm shift, and it actually shifts very well. It shifts much more confidently now than it ever has in its lifetime, so I'm much more happier with how it feels on the firm tune. So and then just one other thing, I did do all the Adams polishes stuff, which I do use still, excuse me, quite constantly. Not as much as I should, but I do still use it. Even my dad uses some of it most of the time. So that's the kind of guy he is. He likes the products as well, and he's pretty happy about the kind of stuff that I use. He likes it as well, but he's still probably going to be more of a McGuire's or Mother's kind of guy, which is perfectly fine for him. If it works for him and that's what makes him happy, obviously I'm not going to tell him any other way. So with all that being said, what's next for this year? Now, you guys know that I do have the L86 intake that I have yet to install, as well as the LT1 throttle body. I bought a ported LT1 throttle body from K-Tech. Now, I don't know if I've shown you guys this yet, which I can get it out real quick. The box is like right here. A box within a box. Here we are. Yes, by the way, you are all on my bed. Be happy. Anyways, here is the ported throttle body that you get from K-Tech. My understanding is they take a brand new throttle body from AC Delco and they port it all out. They do all the insides of this right here, shave it down completely, make it nice and smooth, and then they also take the part of the butterfly blade part, and they shim it, they trim it down a lot and change out the bolts and stuff like that to screws. Makes it kind of nice, and it definitely will work out with future modifications that I have for this truck, or that I'm planning for this truck. So basically, yeah, that's one other thing that I still have yet to install on this truck on top of the L86 intake. I'm pretty excited to do both of those, and from what I understand, the LT1 throttle body, at least this one, should be straightforward. You should be able to plug and play and not have any drivability issues. At least that's what I'm aware of. I did search a lot of forums, especially even Corvette and Camaro forums, about it, and they said that the new porting job that K-Tech did with the LT1 throttle bodies is much more improved for drivability. So fingers crossed and hoping that everything works out fine and we won't have to change out intakes again just because of that little thing, which I may try and order an LT1 throttle body just as a backup. I don't know yet, so that's kind of where we're at with that. Those are the things that I would like to get done before the end of the year, before it gets too cold. And one other thing that I really want to do, and I know a lot of you guys have been telling me in the comments section, and that has to be the custom tune for the truck. You guys have been trying to tell me, hey, go get a custom tune. Don't use those can tunes. Get a custom tune. Please, let me explain that I do plan on getting a custom tune. I just haven't done it yet, and a lot of reasons why, mainly just because I'm trying to show you guys some differences in the one can tune, and then trying to show you guys what it's like to use it on just, you know, having a full-time V8 with no active fuel management on versus if you had it on. So just kind of wanting to do those kinds of videos. I really haven't seen too many of them out there, so I thought I might try and do something like that, see if how YouTube world responds to it. So there is that, but I am going to get a custom tune, and I'm thinking about going with Lou tunes for that. Maybe I'm thinking that might be a much better solution for that. So for right now, that's what I'm thinking. And then going into next year, what does next year hold for the channel, for the truck, for everything else? Well, the big things start to happen. That's when I'd really like to start looking into headers. I really want to do headers on this truck. I think it would not only help performance-wise, but it'll definitely help in the sound department, and it'll scare a lot of people. It'll make it a really great daily driver. But with the fact that we're also going to do headers, I'm also going to do some additional things to that. I want to get a wideband O2 sensor. I looked at PLX for possibly going for their wideband setup, and using that stuff in correlation with the DiabloSport Trinity, which, if you guys don't know, with the DiabloSport Trinity, or at least the Trinity T1000, they do have a pigtail that you can use to wire it up to any aftermarket system that you may have, whether it be a wideband O2 or if you have some other DiabloSport gadgets within the truck or car or whatever it is you have. They have some other things that you can hook up to it so that you can use that data to put it back into your tuner and kind of use that to data log and stuff. So that's one other thing that I want to do, is put that kind of stuff into the data log, so that way I can send it off, get everything taken care of, and do stuff like that. But with also doing the headers and that stuff, I also want to do an improved tune, so that way by the time spring hits, we'll have a much better tune on the truck. It'll run 10 times better than it probably should on that tune. Just kind of some things to think about, pretty much, as far as that's concerned. And then on top of that, right now I've been doing a lot of research into some better drivetrain components. I don't know if it's necessarily plagued the four-wheel drives as much as it has the two-wheel drives, but usually anything after about 120 miles an hour, as far as I know, the drive shafts like to pretty much throw themselves right out from underneath you. They like to become their own system, so to speak, and do whatever it is they want. So to speak, they like to throw themselves out. So the thing that I've been trying to research from the 4x4 side of it is finding out, should I upgrade the drive shafts on top of some other things? Now, I know, number one, like, just to get my thoughts straight here, I have not removed the speed governor off of my truck, the 98 mile an hour speed governor. The only reason why is because I don't have tires rated for anything faster. Now, I know the factory tires, I think they're rated for 108 or 118 miles an hour, but in either case, that's kind of where we're at with that stuff. I do need to focus in on that stuff. And then one thing is, that kind of leads into needing wheels and tires, which next year I need to get new tires anyways, but I am going to do new wheels and tires on that kind of stuff. And then going back into drivetrain components, I just need to know if probably a good idea to invest in new drive shafts now and try to get those kinds of things, maybe new yokes, things like that, because I really don't know what I'm getting myself into, and I don't want to, you know, damage the truck while it's still my daily driver. Things like that I have to consider, because that is my way to work right now. So got to consider that. Also, on top of next year, I really want to do some suspension upgrades, and the Rancho shocks that are in the shocks and struts that are in the truck are starting to look a little bit seasoned. So definitely want to look into some suspension upgrades, and I'm going to kind of leave you guys hanging on as to what I really want to do as far as suspension upgrades. I know what you all are going to say, but it's probably not going to be that. I'll just leave it at that. And then going even further now, we'll probably start looking towards the end of, maybe the middle to the end of next year. We will be looking heavily into the next stage of engine mods. So things like active fuel management delete, cam, maybe heads. Don't know yet. Everything is still up in the air with that, but I'm doing a lot of research and kind of putting together things as to what I really want to go into with that. And then finishing that off, there is going to possibly be a new vehicle coming to the channel. A new daily driver is probably going to be coming around this time next year. My current employer is probably going to be the biggest decision of that, because I get a discount from them. So things to consider right now, I have been looking at just a small compact vehicle, sedan of some flavor, whether it be like a Honda Civic, or I've even looked at Subaru WRXs, things like that. I would rather have an STI if I was going to do it, but that's like a $36,000 car, and it just doesn't make sense for me right now, especially with still having a truck payment to have that kind of stuff. You know, that's just a lot of money to throw down right now. So I think for the time being I would reconsider that option, and if I'm going to consider an STI, you might as well put Type R in the same category. So even though one is front wheel drive and the other is all wheel drive, it does make a bit of a difference as to what you have to do, or what I should do as far as a daily driver is concerned. So that's kind of where we're at with that. That is basically what next year holds. This is the whole channel. This is what we've pretty much built on. So yeah, if there are any other things that I could think of, I'll try and throw them in here, but we're going into the Q&A section, which I only could find 2 questions, and I figured I would answer them because I found them on a couple of videos. Dog, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Alright then. So, first off, number 1, for the first question that I had was, do you plan on turning off V4 mode, and if not, why? Well, I kind of answered that. I have planned on trying to keep it on, but, you know, what do you want, dog? I know you want up here, probably. Basically, in short, I do plan on leaving V4 mode on probably for the time being. I guess we'll see how well it works into the winter, and also as well as the custom tune that we're going to get for the truck. We'll see if that makes an improvement in it, because right now the can tune likes to hold the hold active fuel management a lot longer, and likes to hold it at RPMs a lot higher. So I mean, I've seen absolute engine load up to like 75% in V4 mode, and that's kind of like working it pretty hard. So I kind of get a bit hesitant about it, so I'm thinking that's why I really need to look into the custom tune. At the bare minimum, I will probably most likely shut it off, because I really didn't see that much of a drastic change when it came to having active fuel management versus not. So I mean, at the worst case, it'd be an extra $5 fill up at the gas station, you know. But considering much of the driving that I've done lately, I've been doing literally 6 and 7 day a week driving, whereas normally I could go, you know, get away with maybe driving to and from work all week and then not having much else to do because everything's caught up. So basically, to put that into an answer. Do I plan on turning it off? Eventually, yes. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it on. Only after I get done with doing the differences between the two video, and then I'll probably turn it back on just for fuel savings reasons. But I think eventually I'm just going to turn it off and leave it off, because I liked how the truck felt. It was also much quieter. So, yeah. Going into some other things. Second question that I got was, why did you decide to go with the DiabloSport can tune instead of a Black Bear custom tune? And this comes from me talking about some of the information that I found when I was doing my research on cold air intakes, which I found on Black Bear Tuning's website. Now, the reason that I didn't go with like a Black Bear tune or anybody else like that right now is just simply because like Black Bear, they want you to buy EFI Live or AutoCal, I think, like that. Anyways, they want you to get that, and they'll send you all the stuff to be able to, you know, get the tunes on and off the truck and do stuff like that. And it's just kind of a hassle, and I just went on ahead and spent, you know, a decent sum of money on the DiabloSport tuner for me to be able to do some more data logging and things like that. And there are also some other places besides Lou that can do DiabloSport tunes, so that's kind of why I'm like, there are other places, there are other things. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'd really like to consider going and getting HP Tuners Pro, because if I'm going to do the things that I want to with my truck, that's where it's going to ultimately amount to, and maybe look into something that will do data logging for me besides the DiabloSport tuner. That, and the fact that I like that the DiabloSport has a wide range of gauges you can have on the screen. That's kind of why I liked using it as much as everything else. That was really about the only reason I got it, because I didn't want like a whole gauge pod and then I just didn't want a whole bunch of gauges cluttering up the driver's side of stuff. It just doesn't make sense. So, and then I wrote down one other thing of stuff to point out, and that's 5 things, the 5 things that I hate about my Silverado. A lot of people get this general misconception about that video. A lot of people are looking for bad things to point out about 2014 Silverados in general, or just this generation of trucks. And really, you have to understand what that video really is. That is about my truck in specific. I'm talking about things that I could nitpick about the truck. A lot of the cases, yes, it basically does come down to I picked the wrong trim level. But at the time, it's all I could afford. I really do like the truck. If anybody was going to ask me today, do I really like my truck? Yes, I love my truck. It's dependable. It's confident. I love driving it. It's a great truck. So for me to sit here and tell you that I absolutely hate the truck, no, I don't. There's just little things here and there that I don't like, and a lot of people say, well, just change that out, do this, do that. You know, a lot of people don't understand the video, and that's fine. It is what it is. It's not the only video that seems to be like this, where it has more dislikes than it has likes. At one point, it actually had the same amount. So it is what it is. It's just kind of really strange to see. But I guess at the end of the day, if that video were to ever receive enough dislikes where it got pulled, I guess I would redo the video and kind of go into detail as to more explanation of why I feel the way I do about the things that I don't like specifically about the truck. So it is, like, at the end of the day, it does boil down to just personal preference and ultimately probably trim level. But I mean, as far as overall accommodations in the truck, they're fine. The way it's set up now is fine. There's just little things, like I would like to have the LTZ headlights, which I can get, and I've even found them for pretty reasonable, unless you really want to go with OEM quality, which most people will probably end up choosing. You're probably going to spend about $800 to $1,000 just for the pair of headlights. And the chrome trim and stuff like that, it's not hard to find. You're probably going to spend $200, $300 for everything: door handles, top halves of the mirrors, and the body side moldings. So personally, what I thought about doing was maybe getting those pieces, or getting colored trim pieces and having them wrapped in a different color, just to give it some contrast, so that way it didn't look the same. And maybe getting rid of some of the plasticiness around the truck, because there's some things that I don't really like about the plasticiness about the truck, and just kind of trying to make it look a little bit more quality oriented. It's just little things here and there that I'm going to try to do with the truck, but it all dictates on kind of what YouTube does for me, whether you guys like the videos or not, and overall whether I have the money to do those kinds of things. So that's pretty much where we're at with that. But I did want to point out that, yes, the 5 things that I hate about my Silverado is more of a personal, nitpicky thing than it really is an actual general speculation of the overall truck. Have I had any problems with? Are there any really big things that I can say that I absolutely hate about it? No. I mean, I can't sit here and say that I do, because I've driven in lifted trucks, or not really driven lifted trucks, but I've rode around in lifted trucks all my life. So once we finally had a regular truck, that's what I knew what comfortable was. So for me to sit here and say this thing rides like a truck, unless you've really been in like a heavy duty truck or a lifted truck, and I'm talking old lifted trucks, I'm not talking about the new stuff, what everybody knows now. I'm talking about old stuff. It never rode soft, but it was pretty good for what it was. And now that we have these now, it rides much softer than those trucks ever did. So that's where I'm at with that. Anybody got any questions? I see we at least have one person in the one person in the chat. That's at least a start. Asking me what I'm talking about. Nothing. We're not talking about anything. We're just kind of generally mumbling around, pretty much, is where we're at. I'll even reply. Oh, I didn't put the smiley face on it. That's sad. So by the way, I do apologize if the video seems a bit choppy. It is, honest to goodness, the internet connection that I have out here, it is junk. It's garbage. And there's absolutely nothing that I or we can do about it. Pretty much when it comes to internet coverage around here, unless you pay for data, which to me makes no sense. Why would you pay for data rates on internet? Especially in my case, because I will use a lot. I am constantly using the internet to do a lot of my stuff. I do everything on the internet. Obviously Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, big thing, and doing a lot of the research that I do for my truck and for vehicles and stuff like that. And you know, that's just kind of where we're at with that. It just kind of, for me to, I think, what is it that we get advertised? I think we get advertised internet connection at 6 megabits per second. That's what it's supposed to be. Realistically, it's like 3 megabits, 2.5 at best. You know, it's not good at all. It's garbage. So there are some other internet providers in the area, but the problem is that's the only internet provider that provides a wired connection. The next best thing is wireless internet. There's an internet provider just down the road, like another 5 miles, that offers, well, maybe not 5 miles, maybe about 3. They offer a wireless internet service up to, I think it was like the same speed, 9, maybe even 9 megabits, 10 megabits. But you have to pay pretty dearly for it, and it's like, there's also another one in town. I don't think they reach that far out here, but there's that. And then the next best thing is satellite, and you're paying a lot for that. So it is what it is. Welcome to the world of living out in the country. They said it would be fun. Well, if you want to be a YouTuber, it doesn't work. Oh well, it is what it is. This video is not sponsored by Mountain Dew, by the way. But I wish it was. So, if I don't see anything else, chances are that I'm probably going to wrap up the stream there. So if you guys have any more questions, make sure to check out Instagram and all that kind of stuff. As you guys know, my Instagram is at Shane_man20. Couldn't get ShaneMan20 because somebody already had it. Sucks. But that is the Instagram, and then the Facebook page is ShaneMan20. So Facebook.com/ShaneMan20. You get straight to it. You'll be right there. Good stuff. So if that's where we're at right now as far as questions and stuff like that, and what everybody needs to know so far, yeah. So that wraps up what I have for this year, what we're going to expect next year, and like I said, I might have a video out by next week. If not, we'll try and do something next week, but definitely going to be looking into doing a couple more videos, and probably going to wrap up the season, because I really don't have much else going into the winter, and I really don't do much else with the truck in the winter either. So that's kind of where we're at, and so yeah, there will probably be a mini vacation in there, probably a nice little break from videos from here. So one thing that I do want to say is I noticed that I had, I believe, 350 subscribers, and granted, I'm happy with that. I really am. I really am happy with the fact that I made that many subscribers in a relatively small amount of time. So it is what it is, and I really do thank you guys for the support. I really do. I really thank you all for the support that you have given this channel, and the support that you've given me. I know everything has been pretty questionable up until this point, but really you have to understand I'm doing the best that I can on top of, doing my daily stuff, which is, going to work and doing all that stuff, and trying to make money to be able to keep the truck, to be able to do all the modifications to it. Because YouTube really isn't paying me that much. Like, I think I got my first $100 paycheck a couple months ago, so, and that was over the course of like 3 or 4 months. It took that long for all that to happen. Excuse me. It took that long for that much to happen, and I'm getting close to getting another check from him. So, I'll be realistic with you guys. There's There's not much in the way that YouTube pays me, but it's a small amount, and I will not complain about it. It's better than nothing. So, yeah, that's where we're at, guys. So, if that is everything that I have, and I will double check the chat one more time. It doesn't seem like we have anything else. I'm gonna wrap up this live stream. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button for starters. Hit the like button. Also, if this is your guys' first time stopping into this channel, please hit that subscribe button. And also, while you're at it, do not forget about that little notification bell that's next to the subscribe button. Make sure to hit that so you are always notified of when I post new videos. Because nobody likes being left out in the dark. I don't like being left out in the dark, guys. It sucks. But with all that said, guys, hopefully you have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. And I will see you all in about a week or two. Take care.